Hello everyone. It's James again. And today I want to talk about workplace narcissism. And the real reason why people will laterally move in a company several times. Up until the point they leave the company altogether. First, I want you to think about something. Think about the relationship you had with the narcissist you were dating or married to. Now picture they weren't a narcissist and they were nice, kind and decent. There would be no reason to leave them, right? And you probably would still be with them if they were a good person. And not a narcissist. Always tricking, manipulating, and abusing you. Well, jobs are very much the same way. Yes. True. You might as an employee look for ways to grow and better yourself on the job. Or find new challenges. And usually these new challenges we want to take on at work. We do so hoping for a better financial reward. And rightfully so. We are working where we are working for money. Not because we are there just for a fun time. But what happens when you see people leaving what seems to be good jobs? Or moving from one position to another in the same company with very little to no pay increase? I will have to tell you this is common. I've worked for big companies and small ones. And when you see someone working hard to get out of the position they are in to move to another position that will offer very little in a way of more pay, it's majority of the time due to workplace narcissism. Sometimes this narcissistic abuse comes from a boss or supervisor. Other times it might come from an oppressive system. Here's what I mean. You find a new job. You think, wow, this place is so different than the last place. Just like you felt when you met that new person you were dating. And you settle right in. You feel great. You're doing a good job. You are getting praise for your work. Much like the love bombing stage you experienced when you were dating this new person in your life. But somewhere along the line things change. Before you know it, you are now being criticized here and there for things you would have never been criticized for. And just like in the relationship situation, you think to yourself, maybe it's me. Maybe I did something wrong. And since being on the job, you are always wanting to accept full responsibility for things even if they don't make sense. Because if you speak up, you're afraid to be seen as a complainer. This hot and cold treatment goes in waves. Nice 1 minute. Oppressive the next. And before you know it, depending on how big the company is that you're working for, you feel this overwhelming system around you. It's not just one person. And you just feel like the rules and things are being changed to put you into a box to where you can be fired. And just like in the relationship situation, if you don't wise up to what's going on, you will get destroyed. And those that have seen this pattern before, this moving to another position, if you're out there in the workforce, no matter if you work for a big or small company, you always hear, you should always be prepared to move on from your position every few years. Never stay in the same place or job title for no more than 2 to 3 years. And no, they aren't talking about promotions. Ideally that would be the case. But in most instances it's not. So why is it so important that you as a worker out there in the world have to live in this insanity that you must change positions every 2 to 3 years? Changes that don't give you more of a benefit, other than a slightly different title. And the group of people you work with are different. Same pay. Same benefits. No real reward except getting away from a narcissist. Or a narcissist system. At least for the time being. You see, this way of working has pretty much become the norm. As much as dealing with narcissists in the dating world. And it's become the norm. Because companies, no matter they be big or small, will run their businesses oftentimes like a narcissist would have a relationship with you. And they do this because in their minds it's cost effective. But wait. I'm really good at my job. Doesn't that count for anything? No. It really doesn't. What most companies are after even at high levels is cheap work. Let's say you get hired into a sales position. And you are doing well and kicking butt. You're getting really nice commission checks. You are winning awards. And going to paid conferences at resorts your company is seemingly so happy to send you to because it's in their budget to do so. So you get very comfortable. You buy a house. You put down a little bit of money on a house you've always wanted to live in. You feel like, wow, I could work here forever. But here's what you need to know. Your company doesn't see it that way. All of this good stuff that is happening to you is love bombing. Getting you comfortable while they wring you dry of all your talent and hard work. Then one day, your boss's boss says to your boss, "This guy on our spreadsheet. We sure are paying him a lot of money. What's going on with that?" Your boss may say, "Well, he's our top sales rep." Your boss's boss tells him, "Is that what you think? All I'm seeing is we are paying him way too much money from where I'm standing." And before you know it, your boss knows what they have to do so they don't feel their own boss's wrath. And that's fire you. No, they won't come out and just say, "You're making too much money. Hit the road." Your boss will criticize you here and there. Make it look like you are making errors and mistakes in your work. They will come out with new sales guidelines and targets that are impossible to reach. And once you can't reach them, you will be written up and disciplined until you're fired. And during this process, coming into work you will feel like, what's next? What do I have to worry about being accused of now? This is the narcissistic system most companies operate under. Even small companies. You can get a great job at a small company. You can become buddy-buddy with the owner. Then a few years later, they completely do a 180. And everything you do is wrong. This is a tactic that is used to get you to discard yourself. So they can turn around and hire another person at base pay. Get 2 or 3 years worth of work out of them. And then start the abuse process all over again. So they are always getting the cheapest and best work around. This is why so many people in the workforce, as a rule of thumb, move around so much. They try to not wait for the love bombing phase to be gone before they leave. They want to make sure they leave on top. The problem becomes, what happens when you run out of jobs? The other problem becomes, how can you at any time feel comfortable to purchase a house? Or do anything long term? How do you relax? When you are living on the edge of your seat all of the time. You're literally moving from job to job. To avoid abuse. That's the main thing that is happening here. And those that do it before they are abused were either mentored very well, or they learned from an experience where they were mistreated at work after a couple of years of good treatment. Sadly, some people will do anything to survive. And sadly, that's why you have the behavior problems you have in a lot of people today. Here's what I mean. If you're living in a dangerous area of town, and the gangs force you to join, you might have to do some horrible, ruthless things to others. Though deep down inside you don't want to do such things. Because you know if you show emotion these gang members might kill you. Well, there are a lot of those that take on a manager role because the pay is good. And they think, this is going to be great. I'm going to buy a house. And maybe they just had a new child recently. So the extra money will come in handy. Then before they know it, they are going to be asked to target another employee in a discreet, indirect manner. If that makes sense. Those above this manager will ask or say certain things to let them know in code speak. You really need to make this thing happen. Because if you don't, you're next. So this person in this example takes on the way of the narcissist, performing the love bombing trick to a T. Then changing it up when the time is right. And eventually riding this person until they are easy to fire. Or they leave on their own. So I ask myself, what has this world come to? Just because employers don't want to pay a fair wage. Even the biggest of the biggest companies. Down to the smallest of the smallest. And because they don't want to pay you a fair wage. They use these tactics to get you to either be easy to fire. Or you move to another department. Or you quit. Look around. So and so is going over to such and such department. Isn't that a lateral move? Well, they said they are wanting to experience something new. Well, I'm sorry to say. Chances are that reason is utter and complete crap. Chances are they are running from their old job. They were there too long. And they became a target. This got me thinking. People need to start being better prepared for this. And I don't mean just quit. Find another job. Then quit. Then find another job. Though you might have to do this in the meantime. But I'm sorry to say this. Because I know I have both male and female viewers. But it's much like marriage for men these days. And their chances of getting utterly screwed up in a divorce is extremely high. No matter who they marry. So there are many men taking steps to protect their life and avoid such pitfalls. That being said, I think people in general need to take steps to protect themselves when it comes to how you pay your bills the same way you would protect yourself in relationships. And the key thing is understanding what's going on. This is the common theme at most people's work these days. Sure. I get there's someone out there that has worked on the job for 10 years. And they love the company they work for. And they love their job. But nowadays that's rare. So what's the answer? Figuring out your life so you can live cheaply so you will less and less need a particular job. Yes. It's true. Think about it. What if you owned your house free and clear? And you could live on a smaller amount a month? Would you stay at the job you hate? Would you get out there and get another job you hate? Or would you work whatever job you had to pay the bills and then do your hobbies? Did you know there are some people out there living on part-time jobs? Do you know how they manage to do that? They aren't in debt up to their eyeballs. And somehow, some way, they own their dwelling. No matter if it's a mobile home or a fifth wheel. Or even a small house. They are living in a way where their bills are very little. And one day they looked at their high-paying stressful job. The job they are fighting every day just to keep. And they say, to heck with it. It's not worth the heart attack. And they get some part-time job doing something that's easy. Light. Less stress. And if they lose that job, getting another one is no problem. Some of these people learn how to start their own businesses using their talents and skills while they are working these easy part-time jobs. Now I'm not saying, run out and quit your job tomorrow. And pitch a tent on the beach. But what I'm saying is, pay attention to what's going on at work. Who knows, maybe you're new and in the love bombing stage and all is going well. But be that as it may. Look around. Are you noticing a lot of lateral moves? Did two people quit a few months after you started there? If so, ask yourself, what's going on with the place you're working at? And no, you can't take your boss's word for it. Because of course they are going to say negative things about those that left if they want to cover up their own wrongdoings. But ask yourself, if the money is so good there, why are they leaving? Because there's not a lot of jobs out there. Despite what type of degree you have. So why would someone quit a good job? They quit because they've been there too long. They are making too much money. The company is now targeting him or her in a negative way. Making their job very uncomfortable. To the point this person dreads coming into work every morning. Until one day this person leaves. You see, you weren't around to see what was going on to the previous employees. But eventually when it's your turn, or if someone else has their turn before you, you will see it firsthand. The key is live smart. And the best thing to do is start thinking about where you live. And think about it and think about it. Figure out how you can put a nice safe, and clean roof over your head for cheap. And usually that means buying a place that allows for cheaper payments than rent. Or owning a cheap place outright. Or over a very short period of time. To where you only have to pay low taxes everywhere. I've known people that have done it. And they see their jobs a lot differently. They laugh inside when they are treated poorly. Because they know they don't need that job as bad as the next person does. They know they can literally find another job tomorrow. Twice as easy. Maybe less money. But less stress. And more time to do their hobbies. Hobbies that can easily turn into a business. People. We must stop trading our precious time for money. We work. Go to sleep. Work. Go to sleep. All for a place to live in. That is our main cost. And if you were able to take care of that cost, you will be able to do much more with your life. A lot more. Now for you the answer might not be easy. You might not be able to run out there and make it happen tomorrow. You might have children. You might have other things going on that will prevent you from doing these things. But at least you know what this narcissistic system is all about. And you can keep on moving. Don't get too comfortable. Do well for a few years and keep on moving to the next stop. And if you get lucky, and get the money over this time to buy a small inexpensive place to live. Because when this happens for you, it will give you the chance to look at life. And your life much differently. And how you live it. And when the price is too high on your health and sanity. Because of the job you do. You can get out. And you can do it with a smile on your face. Knowing you're okay. And you have options. Options that don't include you being abused by a boss that was once nice to you. But has turned into pure and utter evil. But my question to you is. Have you noticed this pattern at work? I have. At every single darn place I've worked at. It always happens. And if it's not happening to me, I see it happening to another co-worker. It's just plain sickness. Someone can do this to another for a few dollars savings on a spreadsheet. But they sadly do it all the time. The question is, do you have any success stories on how to get out of the system? It would be nice for us to share any and all helpful information. What are some things you've learned along the way to buy places for cheap? Ways to get out of debt. And ways to get a roof. A nice roof over your head for very little money. So you don't have to spend majority of your day working for a narcissist. Just so you can have this place to sleep in. I want to know. Because the more this information is shared, the more it's going to spark some minds. Again, like I said, maybe you won't go out and make a radical change today or tomorrow. But maybe over the next 6 months to a year. You might be in a different and better spot in your life. Because you made some big changes in your life. Changes that set you up for financial success. To the point where you need less and less money. To live a happy life. Because the less money you need to be happy, the less you will need to be a participant in the slave system. That is oftentimes run by narcissists. Narcissists that turn your life into a living hell. Also, they can save a few bucks by getting you to quit, so they can hire a newbie at base salary. These people, if you can call them that, don't care. They don't care about you or me at all. But just like when we are talking about narcissistic abuse, you have to love yourself. When we are talking about your narcissistic parent or parents, brother or sister, or the person you were married to or dating, you have to love yourself. And do what you have to do to become free of these people and their abuse. It may take time because everyone's situation is different. You may have no entanglements. You may have a lot. Well, the same can be said for the work world. You may have to work at your freedom a bit harder or longer than the next person. But you must work at it. Think about it. Envision it. Know it's there. And know the Most High God doesn't want you to be a Slave. A slave to debt. So think about how to get that cheap home. Or other place to live. How can you become free? So no one. Or no system can ever abuse you again. Well, that's all I have for now. I want to say to all of you that have subscribed, thank you. From the bottom of my cartoon heart. And to those of you that haven't yet, please do. And also click the bell to get notified each and every time I make a new video. Also share. Because sharing this information, along with my other videos, along with other creators' videos you might like, could quite possibly save someone's life. And spark their mind into helping themselves and getting away from bad people and bad situations. Remember, we all woke up some way. And it was more than likely we read something. Or we came across a video that sparked our mind to research further and further and further. And here we are. Awake and learning and knowing the truth. So share. Because everyone deserves the same chance. As always, keep eating from the tree of life. Pray for wisdom and strength. And until next time. Bye for now. And be good to yourself.